We had another rate hike yesterday, of course, from the Reserve Bank and possibly more on the way. So how are households being affected by this and how are they going to cope? Let's take a look, first of all, what's already happened. So the extra monthly repayments on 2.35%, that's the current, of course, increase of the cash rate. $367 a month if you've got a $300,000 loan, $734 there for a $600,000 loan, and $1,100 for a $900,000 loan. That's the extra money compared to the lowest peak, the 0.1% cash rate that we're getting. That's how much extra money they've got to find a month. Look at it at 3.35%. This is two more rate hike increases. If they happen, you see a $300,000 loan goes to $548, more than $1,000 on a $600,000 loan, and then $1,600 on a $900,000 loan. Again, that's monthly extra money you need to find in your budget. That's compared to the low of 0.1%. How fast have these rates been going up as well? And what does it tell you in terms of which households are going to be the most affected that might actually struggle to find this extra money? Because it won't be every household. Let's have a look first of all here, and let's go to the Rba Cash Rate. Yes, this is what it's doing to the overall loan you pay, but this tells you two things. First of all, how quickly this has gone up, and second of all, who's going to be in trouble. It's not so much people taking out loans here, because the difference between those two is not too bad, 1.5 versus 2 and a bit. But anyone that took out loans at that very low area there, they're going to see a shock. Yes, they should have been factoring in higher interest rates, but they've taken out loans there, started their repayments. They've never had higher repayments than that ultra low, and then they get in trouble. And why? Well, this is the other amount. This is lender amount. Look over here, you're talking about 2019, 2018. The loans there in the order of $400,000. So this is what I'm talking about here. Then we come up here and they've increased to $550,000, give or take. Now, these are different loans. Some of them are refinancing, some of them are investor loans, the yellow. But the point is, at that level, when the interest rates were very low, people were taking out massive loans. When people were taking out those loans, they thought perhaps rates wouldn't go up for 2 or 3 years. That's the shock. It's in that short period in those 2 years that people are going to be affected by. But there is a buffer for some. So this is the household savings ratio. Again, when we look at this, historically, when we got to COVID and all those payments started coming, this is COVID years. This is a huge spike in household savings because people were getting paid, sometimes extra government payments, and they were locked down. They couldn't spend them. So as long as they kept their jobs, we saw a huge spike in household savings ratios. In other words, people have built up a buffer, naturally or unnaturally, to help pay for these big increases. And where does that actually result in? Well, this is the most interesting part here. Look at the two big parts. This is repayment buffers. This is how much people have in terms of buffer for their mortgages. This is CBA information. The Commonwealth Bank is the biggest mortgage lender in Australia. Two things to look at here. First of all, the 2 years. These people here have more than 2 years in terms of buffers. They're 2 years ahead, if you like, on their home loans. These are figures from December, June and December 2020 and 2021. So you can see more than a third of people have massive buffers. When people keep saying we've got big buffers against these increases, that's what they're talking about. The problem is not everyone's in that situation. Yes, you've got 7% or so, 1 to 2 years ahead, that's decent. 6 to 12 months, they can weather the storm for a bit. But look at here, look at the less than 1 month buffer. That's actually a slightly bigger cohort than the 2 years plus buffer. So this is the mixed story right now. Anyone in this situation right now who happened to buy a house when house prices were most expensive and home loan rates were the lowest, if they're on a variable rate, they're starting to do it really tough. So this is the issue right now. There'll be some people completely fine from these rate rises. There'll be others that took out fixed rates, and there'll be others who are going to see problems already.